the client experience designer for coaches and practitioners ready to deliver transformation with professionalism, consistency, and care. Now, introduction, why experience creates trust. Your offer is the what. The experience is the how. The way you deliver your program from the first welcome email to the final session shapes how clients feel about you, your process, and their results. When you intentionally design that journey, you create transformation that lasts. A professional client experience doesn't mean fancy or complicated. It means thoughtful. It's the difference between clients who feel supported and those who drift away. Today, you'll map out the essential handouts, tools, and touch points that help your client feel guided, confident, and cared for from start to finish. Let me give you my perimenopause reset program as an example. So they purchase the program after our call, and they automatically get redirected to a thank you page that tells them the next steps and what to expect with a video. After that, they get access to their client portal. They automatically get all their sessions loaded into their account and all their new client forms, and they get their program. The program is dripped out weekly along with weekly check-in forms. So every week there's a form that gets stripped out with their content, just as a short check-in. It's not very long. Every month they get a form to look at all of their stats from their CGM and their Garmin VivoSmart. And then they get support in the DMs and they get their calls. So all around, these people feel super supported. But I'm not doing any of that work and heavy lifting. The only thing that I'm doing is when they DM me, I reply, and I meet with them for their sessions. I review their labs and build their protocols. Everything else is automated for me. I don't have to do the rest of it, but it gives them a fantastic experience. So part 1, map the client journey. What happens right after a client says yes? For example, they get a welcome email, onboarding form, first call scheduling, payment confirmation. So my clients get all of that. They get access to their program. They get access to their program. Now, I've talked a lot about a program that they get access to. You do not have to have that right away. That can be a long-term goal if that's something that you want to have, but don't worry about having that right now. What you could do, though, if you're using Practice Better or Healthy, is you could give them the forms to check in. And then you could also give them just a handout. If you have a handout on diet or a handout on sleep or a handout on exercise, you can give them handouts if you want to. And then eventually you can put those handouts into a program. Now, how do you want your client to feel during their first week with you? I want my clients to feel super supportive and that they made the right decision. What milestones or wins will they celebrate throughout your program? So these are the little wins: balanced blood sugar, lower anxiety, improved mood, feeling calmer, more collected. So these are things for my perimenopause reset. What do you want your clients to feel? I also want mine to feel supported and like they're on the right path. How will you track or measure progress together? So is it going to be weight? Another thing that was part of my program is the Tech City Smart Scale. And so it measures like 13 different biometrics and weight. So we're looking at protein and water weight. And while it's not 100% accurate, people can still see those changes, which can be really motivating for people because they see that things are improving before the scale starts to move and before their inches are coming off. And so it's very motivating for people. So how are you going to track and measure progress together? That's another great thing about the CGM and the VivoSmart is it's real-time data all day, every day, so that they can see those improvements before their symptoms go away. How will you close their program experience powerfully and encourage continued education? So what I do is I have built into my program the last 2 months, I let them know that they have a month left in their program. And I start introducing the next steps, which I have a membership model. So after they complete their initial program, they go into a membership model where they get continued support, they can order labs, they can get discounted supplements, and they get one call a quarter. So every 3 months they get a call. They can review up to one lab on that call. If they need more than that, then I would recommend purchasing another package. Now, part 2, identify your core handouts and resources. Your resources should make your work easier to deliver and easier for your clients to succeed. It shouldn't bring overwhelm. So examples, a client intake form, symptom tracker or food journal, program overview or roadmap, weekly reflection sheet, lab prep and supplement tracker, resource library or recipe guide, post-program check-in, weekly check-ins, monthly check-ins, however often you want to do them. Maybe you want to do bi-weekly check-ins, whatever it is. So what are 3 to 5 handouts or tools will best support your offer? Now, if you're new to all of this, think in simple terms. If you're working one-on-one with people, they don't really need that much from you. My Perimenopause Reset is a group program, but they can also go into a one-on-one program with me with labs. So they can do a no lab program as a group program or with labs, which is one-on-one. So I would not have built out this huge, robust program for a one-on-one client, but they just also get access to it because it's done. So think about, what do you really, really need for them to get the result and also feel supported? And then start there. Don't go overboard with this. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. Now, if you're experienced and you've been in this for a while, the sky's the limit. Go for it. Now, part 3, create your signature touch points. Consistency creates safety. Think about how and when you'll check in with clients. How will you communicate between sessions? Example, Practice Better Chat, Voxer, email support, or client portal. How often will you check progress or celebrate wins, and how will you do this? So for example, weekly recaps, midpoint reviews, end of program feedback, weekly check-ins, bi-weekly, monthly. So think about how you'll celebrate wins and check progress. So one thing I have on my forms before every session is challenges and wins. And I also have challenges and wins on my weekly forms. So I say, what was easy for you this week? What was a little more challenging this week? And what is your main goal, and what are you going to focus on next week? And so it kind of gives them an opportunity to reflect and say, you know what, this hasn't been going very good this week. Next week, I'm going to work on this. And so like I've had some people say, I'm going to work on getting my morning sunlight, or I'm going to work on being more intentional about taking all my supplements on time. So it gives them an opportunity to really think through, hey, this didn't go this well this week, but I'm going to focus on it next week. What small touches can make your client experience feel elevated and personal? So it could be a personalized welcome video, handwritten thank you, a birthday card, a celebration gift. It could be checking in with them personally. So some people check in every single day. I don't do that, but some people do. It might be checking in once a week personally, saying, hey, so-and-so, just wanted to check in and see how everything's going. I don't like to do that because healing is very up and down. And if you catch somebody on a low day, it could lead to a spiral. And so I would rather them reach out to me if they need me, because I have their weekly check-ins and I'm reading their weekly check-ins. So if I notice that there's something on their check-ins where I'm like, ooh, they need a little bit extra support, I'll reach out to them. But if their check-ins look good, I don't reach out to them. Refine your client flow. Now that you've designed the pieces, put them in order. So we've got inquiry, discovery call, enrollment, onboarding, sessions, progress check-ins, wrap-up, and feedback. Outline your version of the flow below. And yours might not be much different, but think through, like, how many sessions are they going to have? Will they have different types of sessions? When will the sessions occur? What order are things going to come in? So think about your order. And then I want you to share the following in the Day 5 community post. What happens after a client says yes? How do you want clients to feel? What milestones or wins will you celebrate? How will you track or measure progress? How will you track or measure progress or celebrate wins? How will you close the program and continue next steps? What 3 to 5 handouts or resources will support your program? How will you communicate between sessions? What small touches can make your client experience feel elevated and personal? And what is your client flow? You can keep this super simple. What happens after a client says yes? They're going to be enrolled in the program and practice better and get a welcome email. How do you want your client to feel? Excited and supported. What milestone or wins will you celebrate? I am going to celebrate their blood sugar balance, being more balanced, feeling calmer, and sleeping better. And then I can just list that out. How often will you track or measure progress and celebrate wins? Weekly and monthly at different touch points. And then every 60 to 90 days, I like to give my big questionnaires. How will you close the program and continue next steps? At the end of the program, they'll start getting notifications the program's coming to an end, and I will offer them my membership on the back end. What 3 to 5 handouts or resources will support your program? So when you have a specific person in mind, you can already have handouts ready to go. So I'm going to give them a diet sheet. I'm going to give them one about rest and relaxation. I'm going to give them one about mindful movement, and I'm going to give them one about stress reduction techniques. So 4 handouts. And I'm going to give them a 5th one on how to take supplements. How will you communicate between sessions? Practice better chat. What small touches can make your client experience feel elevated and personal? Weekly check-in forms with follow-up as needed based on the responses. What is your client flow? I'm just going to go with the one that's up here at the top. Monthly progress check-ins and protocol updates. And then I would say 15-minute calls as needed throughout. Your system and handouts are more than logistics. They're expressions of your care. They help your clients feel safe, supported, and seen. They make your work easier, repeatable, and scalable. And they turn satisfied clients into referrals and lifelong fans. Professionalism isn't about perfection, it's about presence. Now, by the end of today, you will have your client journey mapped from onboarding to offboarding and next steps, know which handouts and tools to create next, have a clear plan to deliver an elevated, consistent experience. Now, what's next? Day 6, the systems and tech map. Tomorrow, you will simplify your backend by choosing the tech that keeps your business organized, automated, and stress-free. We'll turn your client experience into a smooth, sustainable system that supports growth, not burnout. You've built the transformation, now let's run it effortlessly. So as a reflection for day 5, your client experience designer, what's one small touch point you're adding to make your client experience feel more personal or professional?